joining us on the Rob Dibble Show hotline, Donny Marshall, UConn great, NBA great. Now he is working for Fox, calling NCAA games, and he joins us now to talk about his Donny's Dash coming up this Saturday.
Yeah.
And legend Donny Marshall joins us now. Tell us about the Donny Dash coming up in Simsbury.
Well, it's awesome. It's a 5K race and a 5-mile. We got a kids run also, so it's great for the entire family to come out. Weather looks like it's going to be beautiful, but it benefits the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford, and it's just a great event. Last year we had about 100 of our Boys and Girls members of the Boys and Girls Clubs. They came up on stage with me to thank all the runners, just to let them know why they're there running, what they're running for. So, it's a great day. It's obviously a great cause. We all know how important the Boys and Girls Club is. And actually tomorrow night, Simsbury has donated $6,000 worth of shoes. So I'm going to be at the Boys and Girls Club on the South End handing out shoes to some of the lesser privileged kids to be able to run on the weekend. So it's all good all around it.
That's so
fantastic.
Awesome,
Yep.
man. I've been to that Boys and Girls Clubs, Donny. If you haven't, if nobody has, I say go there and pay a visit. It's brand new, sparkling new. Dude, Kurt, I've told you this. They've got a recording studio in there, dude. Like, they've got some pretty cool stuff. But again, it's all because of people in this community that are making it happen. You can still register for Donny's Dash. You can register at hartfordmarathon.com. Yours truly is going to be running. Donny, we've got a bunch of people from the radio station. They're going to be there on Saturday. But talk about Boys and Girls Clubs in the world of basketball. When I was there, I was with UConn men. Donovan Clingan, Andre Johnson both played at the Bristol Boys and Girls Club. That's how they got started in hoops. Andre Jackson in, I think we're talking Amsterdam, New York. He was telling me about his start at Boys and Girls Club. I remember playing a lot of hoop at Boys and Girls Clubs. It's still the place, to me, where a lot of people who are raw in the game of basketball get their first action with the game.
Yeah, Ben, it's interesting, Ben, because when I got involved, I'm on the board of trustees for the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford, and I wanted to get involved for kind of a different reason. When I was a kid, they called us latchkey, where my mom went to work before I got up in the morning to go to school. She got home after I got home. So I basically had a key around my neck on a shoelace, so I knew what time you got to lock up when you leave, go to school, you come back, you fix yourself a snack. I mean, dangerous times. If I left that up to my kids right now, the house would be burned down the first day. But somehow I made it through it. But the Boys and Girls Clubs, for me, and I think there's a positive in everything. Even we say if we're not winning, we're learning. We don't say losing. This was my situation of learning. Boys and Girls Clubs, where I grew up in Federal Way, Washington, did not allow us into the Boys and Girls Club because of karate for adults, yoga for adults, cooking classes. So my experience with the Boys and Girls Clubs was a negative one. It was, no, get out. We have no room for you, no space. And that was a time where it was critical for us to have a place to go. Fortunately, me and a lot of my friends, we made it out of there safely, not going to jail, not getting people. But this was an opportunity, guys, for me to say, you know what? I'm not going to be bitter. I'm going to be better. I'm going to say, I don't want any kid to have to experience what I experienced with our Boys and Girls Clubs on the West Coast. I'm going to be here to help give them more of a resource to be able to come to a place where they're always accepted, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, race, creed, color, gender, doesn't matter. So I didn't have that as a kid, but this is my opportunity to be able to flip that narrative and say, you know what, I know I didn't have it, but I don't want any other kids to go what I went through. So that's why I'm so engulfed in the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford.
And Donny hit the nail on the head. When LeBron did his decision, a lot of people were down on him, but I wasn't, because he raised $2 million for computers for the Boys and Girls Clubs. And I know that Waterbury benefited from that. And these kids would have nowhere to go after school. And not only does it keep them off the streets, it's still teaching them, and they're still, feeling a part of them. Talk about the ones in Hartford, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford. Like Ben said, this is some stuff that gets these kids into programs that helps them get to college.
Yeah, it really does. There's computer labs.
Yep.
Some of these kids don't just want to play baseball or basketball like us. They want to be on television and in the radio like us. Our afterlife, if you will, is. So that's why we have recording studios, a news studio, radio studio. So there are other things. There's a gaming area also with huge screen TVs in there where these kids can, because some of these kids are going to be gamers. They're going to make millions of dollars gaming, designing games, making music for games, music room. Obviously, there's a basketball court. The other thing about that new Boys and Girls Club is there's a cafe. So there are nights where parents can't get home, like my mom, as a latchkey kid, couldn't get home to cook dinner for me. There are dinners made for a lot of the members who need it, who come in. It helps the parents. And also, like you said, it helps keep the kids off the street. It helps keep them fed. So, and there's a lot of great options there in terms of not just hands-on in terms of basketball, video gaming, but nutrition. They're teaching kids how to live healthier lives through what they eat. So the other interesting thing I think about the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford is the very first Boys and Girls Club in America was in Hartford, 1850. If I'm not mistaken. And now the newest Boys and Girls Club in America still is now in the South End there. And it's just something we can all be proud of. We can all gather around and be a part of. Even if you're limping for 3.2 miles, no matter what you're doing, you can go out there and help and be a part of changing some young people's lives.
HartfordMarathon.com. The thing I was always told about the Boys and Girls Club, the best time in a kid's life, best part of it is not between age whatever and whatever. It's between time 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Yeah. It's the safest place for kids. You've got to be pumped up, though, right now. I mean, when the Donny Dash is done, it is hoops season. We just had the Big East Media Days. I don't know. Do you feel disrespected that UConn wasn't voted number one? Coach Hurley says he was cool with it. What do you think about UConn? I think they finished third in the coaches' rankings here preseason.
Yeah, they had Marquette 1, which makes sense. They're 8 of their top 9 scorers are back. The one guy left was a draft pick in the first round. After that, Creighton. Okay, I get it. They're the best defensive team in the Big East the last 2 years, and Greg McDermott does a phenomenal job bringing in transfers. He likes those veteran guys. Look, we lost a lot. If you're a UConn fan, you lost a lot in terms of points and rebounds. You lost 3 or 4 studs. So I understand. I like, it feels like no matter what happens with UConn, they're always the underdog. You win a national title. Now people from down south start saying, oh, they're a blue blood too. No. You can't just take us when we win, and then say, oh, they're not that good, so we're going to rank them 10 or whatever it is nationally. We are not, you can call all those other schools blue bloods, the Dukes, the Kentuckys, Kansas, all that, but we're champions. That's what UConn is. It's funny, guys, I just left. I came on a little late with you guys because I just left UConn's practice, and Dan Hurley, I think just talking to him after practice, he's more hungry now and probably more fired up now to go back-to-back than he was to win the first one because he got a taste. He got a little bit of a taste of that national title, and he's instilling that in his guys. Some coaches, they're happy to be there to get one. Hey, we got one. I'm good. That's my legacy. Dan Hurley is coaching like he hasn't won a game ever in his coaching career, and that practice today was the most spirited. I had a smile on my face for 2.5 hours watching them practice because every move was efficient, every drill, everything had a meaning. There was no lackadaisical movements anywhere. It was really, really awesome to see, and I think it's going to carry over once the season starts next Monday.
Talking to Donny Marshall from Fox, UConn great, UConn legend, according to this website. Love it. Let me ask you about Cooper.
DonnyMarshall.com? That's the DonnyMarshall.com website. So
Cooper Flagg chose Duke over UConn. Explain why he might have done that and why he might be one and done and going to the NBA.
Yeah, I think, when you see a guy like Donovan Clingan, and they were friends, their mothers played basketball together way back. I think sometimes I was in this situation, not that I was the level of a Cooper Flagg, but when you are being recruited by so many schools and everyone's kind of making the decision for you, at some point, you wake up and say, no, I need to make a decision for myself. My parents can't. My friends can't. My coaches can't. I need to make the decision for myself. And from what I'm understanding, I spent some good time with Donovan Clingan after practice today. It sounds like Cooper Flagg just said, you know what? I know everyone wants me to go to UConn and play with Donovan, and who knows if they would have, who knows if Donovan's going to go to the NBA or what. But I think he just decided he wants kind of to have his own shine. He wants to do his own thing, and I don't have any problem with that. Obviously, went to a wonderful school, but sometimes as players, Dibs, you kind of want to have your own space, and I think this is his chance to have his own space because the big foot down at Duke is going to be, this is his second year, he'll be gone as well.
We saw that Moore and Dixon are back at Villanova. And you're like, what? These guys haven't graduated yet?
7 years.
Or even, played overseas. How much has that changed with NIL and keeping big-time name stars at universities that are competitive, that are, looking like they can make runs in the tournament? When I saw those two names, I thought that they would get a contract in Greece by now.
Yeah, I joked with Cam Spencer, who's a fifth-year player at UConn, came from Rutgers, that he's almost as old as me. Those two guys, I think they're almost as old as us. They've been around so long now. The beauty of COVID, if you can find a silver lining, was that these guys got a chance to extend their careers in college. This is the last year, though. They cannot do it again. Next year, you're going to have to sit out a year. But for me, I was ready to go. I think Coach Calhoun was ready for me to go probably 2 years before I actually graduated. But I would do the same thing if I were these guys. You guys know in college, your responsibilities are at a lower level. Your expectations at a lower level. Once you get out in the real world, man, you hit the ground running. You got to now make serious decisions. I love that players get a chance to stay in school. And, when you're talking about two guys, and Dixon and Moore, they went through injuries. So, one redshirted, the other one had a tough Achilles tear. So when you go through those, it doesn't just mean your body has to recover, it means your mind. And maybe this is that year where now both of them can play with a freedom. So I don't blame them. I love you take advantage of it. The rules, we say this, you hear it all the time in golf. The rules are here to help you. Well, the rules that they've implemented the last few years for college basketball, they're here to help the players, and I love that the players are taking advantage of it.
Register at HartfordMarathonFoundation.com. Saturday, November 4th is Donny Dash in Simsbury, 5K that's benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford. Donny Marshall, always great to have you on. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Anytime.
Happy Halloween. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell.